And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this?
It's wild, because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight.
Go off of that, Floyd is the best fighter, in his era. And I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Stephen A. Smith reacted to Floyd Mayweather calling out Terence Crawford by saying, "Today's boxing world tends to limit some fighters while overhyping others." He believes Crawford deserves far more recognition for his skills and accomplishments. Smith stressed that age matters. Floyd is no longer in his prime, so the focus should be on Crawford's current dominance, not comparisons that distract from his greatness.
Think about what he had to say about you when he said, you're way better than Floyd Money Mayweather. I know you heard that he said that. What thoughts came to your mind when you heard that Canelo Alvarez said that about you?
Hey, that's a big compliment. He's been in the ring with both of us, so he would know, from his own experience. A lot of people, they can say this, they can say that, but there's only, a few people that can say they've been in the ring with Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather and give their own.
Shane Mosley compared the two by pointing out that Crawford is naturally the bigger fighter. His size and strength give him an edge Floyd never had at welterweight. But Mosley also acknowledged Floyd's precision and defensive mastery, which helped him overcome bigger opponents throughout his career. His take shows the difference.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. Like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
Crawford thrives on physical dominance, while Mayweather built his legacy on skill and adaptability. In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Crawford reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez is uniquely qualified to judge since he fought both men. Crawford noted the circumstances were very different. Floyd fought a young, inexperienced Canelo at 152, while he fought a seasoned champion at 168. Despite the size gap, Crawford prevailed, and Canelo admitted Crawford's power was
cooking right there, because there was this thought, this prevailing thought that the smaller man always loses to the bigger man. This was repeated time and again throughout the fight week. And he proved that that's not the case. Again, I hope you all recognize this was a 168-pounder fighting a 147-pounder. He had one fight at 154 last August, was the undisputed king at 147, beating Errol Spence in July of 2023. Came back the following year, fought Israel Madrimov at the soccer stadium in Los Angeles, and then did everything he could to get this fight, played his cards the right way, and there he was, standing face to face against Canelo Alvarez, who did seem for the longest time like he didn't want to take this fight, and because there was great risk involved, because not only is Terence Crawford one of the all-time best fighters in the history of the sport, he's smaller than him, so a lot of people would be like, oh, of course you're going to beat the smaller guy, right? But I think Canelo recognized, yeah, he might be smaller, but he's that damn good.
For Bud, it proves greatness belongs to different eras. Trainer Greg Hackett offered a different view, saying Floyd was the complete fighter when he faced Canelo. His style was polished, disciplined, and nearly flawless. By contrast, Hackett described Crawford as more explosive and adaptive, but not as precise across 12 rounds. He respects Crawford's achievements, but argues Floyd's performance against Canelo was still unmatched perfection.
The Floyd Mayweather that Canelo Alvarez fought, Yeah.
In the last version of Terence Crawford that we've seen in the ring,
Yeah.
who's the better fighter, Jay?
Of course you got to give it to Floyd. Floyd at that time, Ben, what's up? Floyd at that time versus Canelo was in total confidence. His skill set, his IQ, you know what I'm saying? Everything he do, he was just a complete fighter that night. But I feel like was up against a lot because he was fighting a guy that we knew something about, but we ain't know too much about. People don't understand how much a fighter could be thrown off by what he don't know. And the reason it throws you off is because you're actually learning about the fighter while you're in there. That's what Bud went up against that night. That's why he didn't look so great. To me, I could be wrong, but he didn't look so great to me because he was learning a lot about Madrimov while he was in there with Madrimov.
Max Kellerman analyzed the contrast in careers. Once Floyd left lightweight, he became very selective, making sure every fight was strategic. Crawford has been the opposite, often fighting whoever was available without hesitation. This made him look more daring compared to Floyd's calculated approach.
It's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to people.
Kellerman argued it doesn't take away from Floyd's greatness, but highlights Crawford's willingness to take risks across divisions. Crawford himself confidently stated that if he fought a prime Mayweather, he believes he would win. He clarified it wasn't disrespect. He admires Floyd, but he sees his own versatility, power, and switch-hitting ability as deciding factors. For him, it's about competitive spirit, not tearing down Floyd's legacy.
Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, no.
Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle, reminded fans that Floyd was already past his prime when he fought Canelo. Older, slower, not as sharp, yet he still schooled Canelo with timing and experience. Jeff's point is that context matters. Comparing Crawford's win to Floyd's win ignores the fact that one was declining while the other is still near peak form.
Well, also, if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23? 25?
Yeah, very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people.
But are you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, it shows, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Want
to make himself look like he did something great.
Stephen A. Smith added that Crawford's performance against Canelo was one of the most entertaining fights in recent memory. Despite being seen as the smaller man, Crawford completely outclassed a bigger opponent. Smith said boxing needs fighters like Crawford who combine skill with excitement, turning each bout into an unforgettable event. Another analyst admitted Floyd has the bigger global fan base.
482 people showed up for this fight. But the biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was just severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all, okay? I had the fight 5-4 in favor of Terence Crawford after 9 rounds. It could have gone either way. And then he basically put on a boxing clinic over the last 3 rounds of the fight. And one rounds 10, 11, and 12. He used his jab. He kept his distance. He exchanged when necessary, which is something that I was scared to death of him doing. But he wasn't scared at all.
Thanks to his 50-0 record and pay-per-view dominance. But in terms of pure talent, he argued Crawford may actually surpass him. As a natural southpaw who can switch stances effortlessly, Crawford's style is unpredictable and hard to solve.